Oh, so sorry, students. Actually, so sorry. Just a minute, just a minute. So sorry, students. Actually, I thought I was explaining you, but I was on. So sorry. Okay. So let's just start. So I think today only you two people are here. So let's just begin. So first thing is that students, component of aggregate demand. Okay. In the previous task, we did what is aggregate demand, right? Right. So now we did aggregate demand. What is aggregate demand? It is total of all the demands, right? Whatever you are demanding, that is aggregate demand, right? Now the question is components of aggregate demand, right? So what you will add? I already told you aggregate means addition, right? So what you will add? The question is the what you will add, right? So now the thing is that component of aggregate demand means first you are going to add four things. Okay, just remember four things you have to add. Okay, now ma'am, what are the four things? The first is private consumption expenditure, right? The expenditure which is done by private. Okay, so private consumption expenditure, right? So ma'am, what is private consumption expenditure? So the total expenditure incurred by all the household of a country on a personal consumption is known as private consumption expenditure. For example, I am buying sugar, I am buying pen. This is my personal expenditure, right? Private means we people. Government is different and private is different, right? So total, whatever money I am, household people are doing or they are expending, that comes under private consumption expenditure. This is known as C. You're going to represent it with the help of C symbol. Okay. Now the relation. There is a positive relationship between income and consumption. As income rises, consumption rises, and vice versa. Right? So it increases, it decreases. Right? So this is a positive relation between income and the consumption. Got the point? First point. Ayan and Maria. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So now the second is investment. See, components are basically four. So first is private expenditure. You already know what is private expenditure and plus what is the relation of private expenditure with income. Okay. Now investment. Investment expenditure or you can say private expenditure. So investment is always represented by I. Okay. So private investment demand refers to demand for the capital goods by private investors. Okay. So they are demanding for investing. Okay. It is addition to the investment basically means, for example, you have one house. Now you are purchasing one more house. This is investment. So addition to the existing stock of real capital assets such as machine, tool, factory and all that, that comes under expenditure and investment expenditure. Okay. Investment demands depend upon the marginal efficiency of the capital, marginal efficiency investment and the rate interest. Now, how you will invest, what are the factors that will affect the investment. So investment demand depends upon marginal efficiency of capital. Okay, what is this is known as MEC. Okay, marginal efficiency of investment and their interest rate. What is the, for example, by investing you are getting 10% rate, and by investing somewhere else you are getting 20% interest rate. So you will be investing there, right? So these two factors depends on that. Next is investment is of two types, autonomous investment and induced investment. But in Keynes, we already did Keynes. During investment is assumed to be autonomous. Okay, clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now there is a negative relationship between rate of interest and investment. Okay, if rate of interest is high, I can see that you people cannot see it. So I'm just writing over here. Between rate of interest, for example, rate of interest is high. So your investment demand will be low because you have to pay more money as a loan, right? So this is an investment. Got the point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, next is government expenditure. So, now it's very simple. See, private expenditure, which we people are doing. Government expenditure, which government will be doing. So, it is the total expenditure incurred by government on what? First, purchase of goods and services in the domestic market by government. Second, COE. COE is basically the compensation, pension and all that given by the government. Okay, or the salaries and all that. Third, direct purchase from abroad by the government for embassies or consulate located abroad. So basically, if some government is purchasing something from other company, or for example, in Indian embassy is in Australia, so there they need resources. So government will be sending it to them, right? So that will come under this government expenditure. Okay. Next, in modern economy, the government is an important buyer of goods and services. It is income elastic. It is not affected by income level. See, for us, like the private expenditure was affecting by income, right? If you have good income you can spend a lot, but if you don't have good income you cannot spend a lot, right? So here income doesn't play any role because government has lots of money, so income is income is not going to play any role. So income is inelastic. Inelastic means no matter what it is not going to affect you, right? So now, in case of inflation, inflation means when prices are high. Prices are high. Government spend less to the control excess demand, and in deflation, government spends more to control deficit demand. So when there is inflation, government spends less because already they have more money. But when there is deflation, government will spend more because people don't have money. Right? Clear? This one, government part.
Yes, ma'am.
Students, be very peculiar. You have to learn as it is because the chapter here, aggregate, what is aggregate demand and components of aggregate demand are super important. Okay, so be ready what you are going to write, be ready what you are not going to write. Okay, and next is net export. Okay, so export, see, over export means this is for export and this is for import. The formula is, if you have to find net export, you have to minus X and M. So you are going to minus export. You are going to minus import from export. This is the formula, X minus M, and X means export, the second letter, and this. So it is the difference between value of export and value of import. Net export means difference. Export, now what is export? Export refers to expenditure by foreigners on purchase of Indian product. So export means you are exporting something. Foreigners are giving you money in order to purchase your product. Okay. And what are imports? Import refers to expenditure by residents, like the people of the country, and they are purchasing foreign product. See, export means you are selling it, right? But they are spending their money. Foreigners are doing expenditure. But import means Indians are doing, like your own country, they are doing expenditure just to purchase foreign product. Clear? Okay.
Yes.
Magnitude of net export is affected by foreign exchange rate, inflation and deflation of the. So now net export, how you will, if how it will be, affected. So it is affected by foreign exchange rate, inflation, deflation, and the in trading country. So these are the factors that are going to affect. Okay, and now you can see AD. So C is private expenditure, I was investment, G was government expenditure, and X minus 1, X minus M was net export. So you can see all the 4 components we covered. Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll just quickly revise. Okay, then I'll just give you the time to write it down. Don't worry. So first factor is, ma'am, it is private consumption expenditure. So it's very easy. No need to, mug up things. Very easy. The total expenditure incurred by all the household of the country on their personal consumption is known as private consumption expenditure. There's a positive relationship between income and consumption. If your income will increase, your consumption will like this. Now, investment expenditure and private expenditure. This is represented by I. Okay. So private investment demand refers to demand for capital goods by private sector. Okay. It is addition. You have one house, that's why you are investing. So it is addition to existing stock of real capital assets such as machines, tool, factory. For example, you have this hall, right? And you bought a machine. So already you had a hall, but you bought a machine. So it is an addition, right? Just remember, investment demand. Demand for investment depends upon marginal efficiency of capital, which is also known as marginal efficiency of investment, and interest rate. Your investment depends on 2 factors. One, marginal efficiency of capital, or you can say marginal efficiency of investment, and the interest rate. Investment is of 2 types. One is autonomous investment and second one is induced investment. Okay, but in Keynes theory, investment is assumed to be autonomous. Okay, so we will study this. What is autonomous? What is induced? Right? There is a negative relationship between rate of interest and investment. I hope you can understand this. Rate of interest and investment. Okay, investment demand. Now, the next thing is that, ma'am, what is government expenditure? It is total expenditure incurred by government, or you can say done by government. Okay, done by government. Where? 3 things. Okay, first, purchase of goods and services for domestic market. Second, COE. That means the government people who are getting salaries, pension, subsidies, and all that. It is COE. Employees, pension, and all that, and salaries. Next, direct purchase from abroad by government for embassies and consultants located abroad. So, when they purchase something for the embassies and all that, that also comes under government expenditure. In modern economy, government is an important buyer and goods of service, like for goods and services. It is income inelastic. It means that it is not affected. Like government demand is not affected by income level. Okay, so you can, instead of writing it is income elastic, you can even write government expenditure is not affected by change in level of income. Clear? Next, when there is inflation, government spends less. When there is deflation, government spends more. Now, net export, basically, it is the difference between export and import, right? And export refers to expenditure by foreigners. Who are foreigners? Why they are purchasing Indian products. But import refers to expenditure by Indians, okay, or the resident of a country on purchase of foreign products. Here, foreigners are expendituring just to buy Indian products. Here, Indians are doing expenditure just to buy foreign products. Okay. Now, magnitude of net export is affected by. Now, net export is affected by what? Ma'am, 3 reasons. Foreign exchange rate, inflation, or deflation in trading countries. Because of that, your net export will be changed or will be affected. Clear? And this is the one. C, I, G, and X minus M. Over here, I just forgot, I think, yeah. So you can write government expenditure is represented by G. Clear? Both the Mariam and Mohammedan?
Yes, ma'am.
So you can write it down. First write hashtag components of aggregate demand, then private. Then I will scroll it down one by one. Students done?
Yes, ma'am.
Mariam done? Ayan, you also done?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh. Mohammed Ayan, done.
Yes, ma'am.
Done, students.
Yes, ma'am.